428 Shibuya Scramble on the docket for tonight. Friday night. There are a few days off here. Definitely a weird week for me. Very long, very busy. Also, it's kind of been a weird week because I don't know how to best describe it, but like, you know, like when you're not like 100% sick, but you feel like you're kind of sick, and you like normally you're like, oh no, what's the worst thing that could be happening right now to me? You just got to kind of power through it. But then imagine all that, and then there's also like, oh god, do I have the virus? And am I gonna die? My stomach has been in like weird knots basically all week, and I'm not 100% sure what's going on. I don't necessarily like it, and it's that thing where I'm like, is it something worse? What could it possibly be? Is it partly in my head? Like, am I, you know, there's always that thought too. And so that has me kind of concerned. So I had, you know, said I was going to take Wednesday off, and then Thursday I ended up just taking off as well, just because I was like, not feeling 100% hot, you know? But it is that thing where I'm like, am I actually sick? How bad am I sick? If I am sick, how is it the worst thing? And then how much of it is possibly in my head? But I can say that I at least feel like my stomach has been in knots all for the last few days, at least, basically from the time I wake up to like till I go to bed, which is weird. Like, it's a weird sensation to have. Like, it feel like your stomach just feels upset, where it's like, ooh, like if I was to assign a sound to it, it's just ooh, you know. And you're just like, you kind of don't have much of an appetite at all. And like, not like you're actually gonna throw up, but you're like on the cusp of like potentially feeling like, you know, you could if certain things happened. I don't know. So I don't know how else to describe it. Now, if I hadn't, you'll see we had gotten to we ended last time we had played this on an hour on a block, getting into the new hour. Now, if I wasn't a dummy and accidentally clicked into Kano's story, I would have sat here and hemmed and hawed about whose story to start on the 12 o'clock hour. And I also had the thought that I know, based on trophy data, that I haven't seen all the bad endings that you could get in the first 2 hours of the game. So I was curious to go back and try to see if I can find the bad endings I was missing. But we clicked into Kano's story, so I'm not 100% sure that I want to do that until I run Kano's story here and get back to the character select type thing, if that makes sense. So, hey Dis, what's up? Hope you had a nice Friday and are set up for coming up on a long weekend here, maybe potentially a nice weekend as well. But yeah, we'll go ahead and start after I've discussed my... Oh wait, no, it's not gonna make me pick Kano's story. I can do what I was gonna say. I can try to locate the bad endings. I think the easiest way of finding that is back through here. Thank you, I appreciate that. I've been alright. I was just getting done saying that I've had a weird week where it's felt long, it's been slow and everything. and like my stomach has been weirdly like in knots all week, and it's that thing where I'm like, is this something I should be really concerned about, or just mildly concerned about, or is it just all in my head? And so that's not a great feeling to have, but I've had that going on for the last few days. But other than that, I'm still alright. So what I was curious to see, can I go? I can't click on options to see the bad endings from this screen. I think you have to be inside of a story to see what bad endings you have. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm always just like hoping that it's not something worse. Like, the best outcome would be that I'm just crazy and it's all in my head. Then the next outcome would be that it is just some weird little minor bug or something. But it's just been a weird few days here for me because of that. Like, it's unsettling, but I'm going to just assume that I'm okay for right now. And I figure that this, having at least 3 days off here now, I can see how my whole thing kind of shakes out. Give myself 3 days here to kind of just see how it ends up feeling. I don't even know how to go about what being the best way. I was trying to find and locate these bad endings would be. Like, if we take it an hour by hour, it's only 2 characters. So you would think yes, Memorial Day. I thankfully have it off. It's my first holiday. Here at the new place, the new job. And today was officially, like, I think they called it, like, my 90 day. I was supposed to have some interview with some HR person, be like a 90-day follow-up meeting, and then she left, like, an hour before the meeting. I checked her, like, online status, and she had left for the weekend. I was like, alright, well, guess that's not happening. I do not remember if grayed out means that. Yeah, I was all building up throughout the whole day because I knew it was coming up, and it was supposed to be from like 4 to 4:30 or something, and I don't even know what it 100% entailed, but I was just like, all right, I'm gonna whatever. It'll probably just be like a checkup, a nice little hey, how's it going? And then I would have made some joke like, oh, it's been a crazy last 3 months here. Who would have thought that this is where this job would, you know, I would have just, whatever. Tried to be my somewhat charming self or whatever. And then about 30 minutes or so before, I was like getting ready. And then I checked like her status online. And it was like she'd clocked out like, I was like, honestly, I don't blame her. Start a little early on the long weekend. I wish I had that option. Okay, I could sit here and hem and haw about which. The thing is, I'm still not 100% on the displaying of choices that I have made and choices I haven't made, or ones I've gone back and had to correct. So I think what I'll do here. Oh, see, no, they're both grayed out. I think I've picked both of these. Back out. I think what that means is I've picked both of them, And then whatever's highlighted red, maybe what I've stuck to, and that's what's going on in the current timeline. But then what does green mean? It's not a lot of direction. Okay, I'll go into here and we're just experimenting before we get to new story stuff. The young man started speaking enthusiastically to Hitomi. The detectives watched, uncertain. Was this really the kidnapper? Well, see, it's not grayed out, so that would make you think that it has not ever been picked. And it's also, when you hover over a thing, it's red. It's a gray circle with a red letter, so that makes you think maybe that's the one you then actually chose. Yes, that was him, all right. Kano took a step forward. Hold it! Sasayama yanked him back. Don't be so hasty. But, just watch for a minute. Sasayama gestured with a nod. With Hitomi steadfastly ignoring him, the young man slunk away. See that, Ginge? Guess it wasn't him. Kano felt the tension of the moment linger in his spine. Guy must have been hitting on her, Sasayama muttered. I mean, she is pretty cute and all. He had a point. Okay, see, that didn't... So then if I went back into here... Okay, see, so A is now is highlighted in red. That's the one I chose. That gets locked into the timeline. B is grayed out because we had seen what B does. So same here. A is locked into the timeline. B we had already seen. It's not like it's completely... I think. This is all just... Yeah, but then what the hell? I mean, I could just say not to worry about it, but I do want to see bad endings. You know? Unless I just misread the whole situation. That's also a possibility. Wait. Oh, okay. I thought I'd seen something different. I wish I could have... Oh, here. This is the... Oh, wait! This is the kind of thing I want to see. Oh my god, it's a list of bad endings. Here you can check for hints as to why things ended so as badly as they did. Oh, so we see. We can... So... The numbering on this is... God, whatever reason, suspect on Achiendo. The rest of them turned out to be a mistake. Achi hadn't approached. Yeah, okay. So if I see the picture, then I assume I've gotten it. But So am I to assume that I'm only missing one? Because I don't think that's... I mean, I can just try to find the Asawa one. Asawa. We'll try that. Because if I know that it's like, if the game points out and is like, hey, there's just this one, I probably could have just backed out. I didn't have to go to the screen. I was thinking too much. Oh no. Did I lock out? Oh my god, this game does. Oh, okay, no, it's fine. I thought I had done something. I made one switch of a decision and then got locked out of the... other characters or something. Okay, so if it's saying that there's one in Asawa, if I'm reading that screen, that doesn't have much in the way of explanation, I could just go through here and try to find... go through these decision-making things and find... Oh, we don't even get any build-up. Okay, so if I'm remembering the story correctly, this is the kind of spiteful, evil wife of his busting into his room, and he has got some potentially incriminating things on his computer. And at first I said, yes, just come in. I'm going to choose B as he tries to hide. And I assume nothing goes wrong. Give me just a second. Asawa hurriedly closed the mail program. Even if there was nothing more than just some sick prank, it wasn't anything he wanted his family to see. Especially not I. Alright, come in. But Asawa turned to see that I had already let herself into the study. The sharp sting of her perfume made him scrunch up his face for a moment. Have you reconsidered the whole America thing? She asked. This again? Asawa thought sullenly to himself. Please, he said. Can we not discuss this right now? If not now, then when? You know this isn't a decision to just make on your own. Oh, yeah, nothing changed. The decision did not matter. We're gonna find it. For experimentation's sake. After a time, Asawa could feel himself growing calmer. He took a nice deep breath. Then he dialed up Makino. He took a nice deep breath. Then he dialed up Makino. Has there been any progress? Makino asked as soon as he picked up. His voice was somber. No, Asawa said. Nothing much yet. A tiny sigh came in from the other end of the line. I see. Then what can I do for you? Sir, I'll just get right to the point. Have you conducted clinical trials using the antiviral drug? Makino didn't respond right away. I don't think anything new is happening there either. Oh wait, or maybe it did because it's getting blocked off then here, maybe, potentially. What makes you think that? He asked Alas. Saul described the emails he'd received. When he'd finished, Makino let out his breath in surprise. Not over the phone, he said. We'll discuss this in person. I'll head over to your place when I'm done here. As soon as possible, sir. As soon as I can manage, Makino said. You're not the only person who's busy. But I'm pretty sure this is how we saw the shakedown before. With that, Makino hung up. There was no doubt about it then. There had been human testing. Saul went to let Tanaka know he'd been meeting with Makino. Mr. Saul, are you going somewhere? A stolid-looking man stood in the hallway, almost as if we'd been waiting for Asawa to emerge. Yeah, we've... Okay, so then can I just go back and... The way this game presents... Can I just... So then if I go back and correct to what I had chosen, does it... Oh, it does go back and go... See, that's so bizarre. So maybe things... I mean, Hysterical Eye is the name of the decision. Maybe this is... Seems like maybe this would be a big change. Asawa said nothing. By now he was accustomed to Ai's coldness towards the two girls. The twins were Asawa's daughters from his first wife who'd passed away 15 years ago. I had no blood ties to Maria or Hitomi herself. Well, I continued, are the police going to reimburse us or not? She glared pointedly at Kajiwara. Well, right now we're forced on making sure Maria is safe. I stormed up to him, shouting right in his face. Stop dodging the question. Answer me. Yes, of course, Kajiwara squeaked. Maybe, would you like something to eat to help you calm down? He held out a banana. I smacked it out of his hand. Not the banana. Oh dear, what a waste. Kajiwara scrambled to retrieve the fruit from the floor. Asawa went over to Tanaka and whispered into his ear, I'm going to meet with Mr. Makino. Tanaka nodded silently. Turning, Asawa saw Kajiwara looking in their direction. They made eye contact, but Asawa quickly looked away and strode out of the living room. No? What? Kajiwara followed after him. Excuse me, Mr. Asawa. Yes, what is it? The detective flushed sheepishly with his hair and forced a smile. Sir, we'd appreciate if you could remain in the living room as much as possible. Asawa was in no mood to stand on propriety. Look, I've got a ton of work to do, he said. Are you here to tell me to play the role of the grieving father too? No, not at all. Personally, I happen to think you're an admirable father, Mr. Asawa. Admirable. Did the word have a ring of sarcasm? He had no way to tell if Kajiwara was being forthright with him or not. You're no ordinary fellow, Mr. Asawa. You're a genius. A genius? Me? Asawa made a skeptical noise. Am I mistaken, sir? You've made very important strides in the field of virus research, or, well, so I've been told. Asawa wasn't sure how to respond. He had never considered himself a genius. He was just someone who had more interest in viruses than he was in other people. So... Yeah, This isn't new. So I'm confused as to... Seems to always pop up. All of these bad endings we did see. I mean... I'm pretty sure I should probably just... Points of note to be continued. Okay. Helpful features. So as long as the button is held, you can still read tips and jump while advancing or rewinding through text. Okay. Autoplay. Time chart. Bad endings. Make a difference in order to avoid bad end for detail hunt. Check a tip. I mean... Alright, I think we should just Executive decision. Just get into new story. I'll figure out the whole bad ending situation for like next time. Because I like seeing the bad endings. I think they offer interesting things. And I prefer seeing that, you know, not at the end once we've already beaten the game. I'd rather see those as they kind of were supposed to come. If anything I'm saying makes sense. So who do we pick? I could close my eyes and just whatever character we land on, we go with, we ride. And I, with my eyes closed, choose fucking Kano. Of course. This is the right hour though, right? Are we in the right? I thought, why is it? It's probably because I went back into the other hour, which I'm missing with the timelines, man. Pulled his phone from his pocket. It was Rumi again. It was weird that she'd called twice when she knew he was in the middle of something important. Yeah, this isn't. We're just gonna whoop, jump to the 12 o'clock. Like I should have done from the beginning. Here we go. Kano had been watching Syndicate members hand off the Itachi case for an hour and a half. He still had no idea where this relay might be headed. The man he was tailing now was about 10 meters away, close enough that Kano could close the distance and apprehend him at a moment's notice. But his orders remained the same: follow and observe. He watched as the case was handed off once more. By now, the shock of seeing it pass to yet another accomplice had worn off. It's already been 90 minutes, huh? It was Sasayama. At some point, he'd crept up on Kano from behind. They don't seem like they're trying to get away at all, Kano said. They're just walking. What could they be up to? Sasayama shrugged. Yeah, it's weird. Kano recalled dictum number 89. Translation, please. There we go. Dictum number 89. The more irrelevant something seems, the more relevant it's bound to be. If Tatino's wisdom held true, the Syndicate must have some reason for what it was doing. Were they just trying to throw the investigators off their scent? I almost said screen. No, that couldn't be it. They were wandering in circles, staying right in the same area. They were just running up the clock. What if that's exactly what they were after? Buying time. Kano felt sudden conviction that he was on the right track. If they needed more time to make sure they got their hands on the ransom payment... Wait. Hold on. Could it be that... I mean, this is something I already pondered myself. I'm gonna say this. Could it be that the real case had already been switched out? It made a certain amount of sense. By handing the case off to one accomplice after another, they were leading the detectives to pay more attention to the individuals than the case itself. That could enable them to swap the case while all the focus was elsewhere. Kano shared his hunch with Sasayama. I see. I mean, It is a possibility. Yeah, we might be following the wrong case. There was palpable tension in the air now. Kano, Sasayama said, you gotta report into Kuze. On it. Kano's hand flashed to his wireless. But Kuze was dismissive. No, that's the case, I assure you. No offense, sir, but how can you be so sure? Kuze sighed. Because that's my job. There's an ID tag in that case that allows us to keep tabs on it. There's no way these crooks could have wiped out the duplicate. ID tag? What ID tag? Wait, no, that's right. Kano had forgotten all about the detail in the wake of his all-nighter. Oh, right. Don't you oh right me. Clearly you weren't hired for your brains. Focus on what you're good at. Kuze ended the call. Still, Kano couldn't shake his conviction that something was off. Dude, I'm telling you, Kuze, not to be trusted. He doesn't seem right. The man with the Itachi case made his way back to Shibuya Station. The heck? Sasayama grumbled. He's right back where we started. Kano felt his frustration growing. It honestly looked like the syndicate was just randomly lugging the case around town. Near Shibuya Station, a girl approached the suspect. She was Japanese and entirely unlike any of the other criminal accomplices. She spoke to the man while showing him something on a notepad. He glanced at the pad but did not slow down. Within moments, he had left her behind. It looked like she'd just passed him a message. Well, that's sure fishy, Sasayama muttered. We're starting the muttered thing again. Let's continue. What, the girl? Asked Kano. Yeah. Wanna go hit her up? Sasayama could only mean one thing, questioning her. Yes, let's ask the girl. Yeah, let's go see what she knows. Sasayama and Kano hurried over to the girl. Excuse me, miss. We'd like to ask you a few... Are you happy with your life? The young woman shouted. She thrust her notepad in Kano's face. Tell me this. Are you happy with your life right now? Huh? Looking at the notepad, Kano saw the same question written there in big, bold letters. The girl's eyes widened in surprise, as she hadn't expected two men to actually stop and listen. Right now, sir, she continued more quietly, are you happy? If so, if you could please take this survey about, about your life. Are you happy with it? The more she spoke, the more flustered, just like myself, apparently, she became. Sasayama stepped in. Hey, I need to know, did you speak with that Western fellow just now? Huh? No, that isn't what I'm asking. Sir, are you happy with your life right now? Are you happy with your life right now? Kano got a sinking feeling in his stomach. This kid was looking for religious converts or something. Ah! You did speak with him, didn't you? Sasayama snapped. What did you tell him? The girl's rambling abruptly ceased. Her already ruddy face went even redder, and tears welled up in her eyes. Now we're just bullying this girl. Poor kid, Kano thought. She's just out here trying to get people to listen to her survey questions. There's no way she's part of this kidnapping plot. Look, miss, he said, for the time being, it'd be a good idea for you to leave the area. Afraid I'm not at liberty to explain. The girl's only response was to start sobbing outright. I can't do this anymore. I want to go home. Kano and Sasayama exchanged awkward glances. I want to go home. I want to go home. Home. Passerby began shooting curious looks at the trio. Kano, you get back to work, Sasayama said. I'll escort this girl to the train station. Also, I'll be right back. I gotta take a quick moment. Just a quick break. Gotta go to the bathroom and get a drink of water real quick. Sorry about that. Okay. I might as well explain just the abrupt exit there for a second. I was trying to hide it there for a bit. I mean, it is fair. It also is true. I did go to the bathroom real quick and get a drink of water. But as I'm sitting here trying to read in a feminine, slightly voice for this girl that's crying, fucking a big old cockroach in my apartment crawling on the wall, which irks me to hell. And I'm like, nope. Pause the stream. We got to get this done. I will not be able to rest tonight if I didn't take care of that. Just letting my adrenaline come down a little bit. Because I go, even for like a little bug or something, I go into full fight or flight mode. A special spray. Just take care of the issue. Trying to ruin my Friday. Okay. Let's continue. Terrible. Okay, where was I? Kano, you get back to work, Sasayama said. I'll escort this girl to the train station. No! I'm trying to read a story, and then a big old cockroach is like, squish, squish, squish on the wall, and I could just see him in the corner there, and I was like, nope, because I could do one of two things. I could take my eyes off him for a second, and then he just gets somewhere, and that actually terrifies me, just because I don't like the idea that then I without my eyes on it, that's just somewhere in my apartment. Like, I don't want that. So I was like, I gotta pause the stream. I gotta just fucking take care of this quickly. I've learned. No. No, he didn't care. Something tells me Cockroach did not care about what was happening with Kano here. It's terrible. Adrenaline coming down. Alright. Get back to this. He didn't quite manage to stifle the embarrassment in his voice. Right, Kano said. He hurried away, his eyes already searching for the suspect they'd been tailing. It didn't take long to find him. The man's black garb made him stand out in the crowd at the intersection. It occurred to Kano that all of the criminals who'd handled the Itachi case had been wearing the same black clothing. That fact made the whole situation even weirder. Could they really be ignorant that they were being followed while they were all wearing the same eye-catching outfit? I thought for some reason it was meant to use a different word, but I guess that's correct. It was more like they were going out of their way to make sure the investigators spotted them. That still didn't provide any clues as to what they were after, though. The longer Kano kept tailing these guys, the less it all made sense. Was it really such a good idea to keep this up? Someone's life was in danger, and they were just letting the kidnappers carry out their plan, whatever it was. The very first page of the Dick Diary spelled things loud and clear on that front. Dictum number 1. Never lose sight of what you're supposed to protect, ever. Right now, the single most important thing was ensuring the hostage's safety. This was a situation where Totino would have stuck to his guns for sure. Kano thought back to that day 3 years ago. Are we getting a flashback? Oh, it's young Kano! Young Kano! A burglar had shut himself inside a financial office and doused the place in gasoline. Kano had just been put on police box duty. and is ordered to the scene because his box was just down the street from the standoff. Nobody's assigned to a detective post right after graduating from the police academy. Detective positions can be quite hard to come by. Candidates are selected for detective training only after accumulating enough experience working at the local police box, a very small type of neighborhood station manned by only a handful of officers. Several officers had surrounded the building, keeping close tabs on the situation. The suspect was shouting nonsense through the entrance on the first floor. Things were getting heated. A crowd of alarmed onlookers had started to form as well. "Step aside," a voice said suddenly from amidst the throng. A middle-aged man in a rumpled business suit had approached Kano as he hovered nervously at the edge of the scene. "I'm sorry, sir," Kano said. "You have to stay back for your own safety." He attempted to usher the man back into the crowd. A no-nonsense look crossed the newcomer's face. He spoke in a low voice. "Gonna sneeze. Possibly. Gonna try to mute if I sneeze. Nope, it's going away. Okay, never mind. I'm Detective Tatino from the Shibuya precinct. What's the situation?" "Oh, sir, I'm so sorry. Yes, of course," Kano stammered, then quickly explained. "He hasn't taken anyone hostage, but there are still people in the upper floors of the building." Giving only a slight nod, Tostino marched straight up to the building. I can't help but read in my head. It's really hard every time I see that name in my head to say Tostino and then verbally say, don't say Tostino. Do not say Tostino pizza roll. So every time I see Totino, I have to be like, don't say Tostino. It's hard. Mentally, because I'm mentally reading before I'm saying it out loud. Trying to give this guy's name respect. The plastic container of gasoline the suspect had used was on the ground out front. Totino picked it up and dumped the remaining contents out over his head. Kano was at a loss for words. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. "I've covered myself in gasoline too," Totino called out from the entryway. The tension in the air ratcheted itself up several notches. "Hey, what the hell do you think you're doing?" Kano heard the burglar shouting from inside. "If you're gonna do it, Totino called out. "We can die together." And he walked into the building. All Kano could do was watch things unfold through the plate glass window. Totino was talking to the burglar, but Kano couldn't make out the words. The crook was clutching a lighter, his hand trembling. His expression was like that of a frightened child. Totino slowly approached him and took firm hold of his shaking hand. The onlookers erupted into cheers and applause. Totino handed the now docile suspect over to the detectives, then warily sat down against the plancher out front. It was like something ripped straight out of a police drama. "That was amazing," Kano breathed. "You have to deal with guys like that as quickly as you can. You let a situation like this get even a little out of hand, and you never know how things might go south on you." Totino spoke quietly, almost as if he were talking to himself. As the police evacuated the rest of the building, Kano noticed that there were children and elderly people among them. If the perp had managed to set the fire, there was no way they would have escaped in time. But, I mean, what if he'd actually set the place on fire? If someone's willing to risk their life, you're not going to convince them of anything unless you do the same. Kano still remembered the awe he'd felt at Totino's matter-of-fact tone. Kano hadn't become a police officer out of any real sense of duty. He just thought it would make Rumi happy if he became a detective like her father. Besides, civil servants tended to stay afloat in times of recession, and his time playing rugby meant he was in good physical shape for the job. As a rugby player, he never really thought too much about protecting the citizenry or keeping the peace, but now he was in the presence of a detective who literally risked his life in the line of duty without a second thought. A police officer never loses sight of what he's supposed to protect. Ever. Getting back to his feet, Tatsuno tugged off his gasoline-drenched coat and walked away. Kano wrote the words in a notebook he just purchased. Thus, the Dick Diary was born. Thinking back to the way Tatsuno had put his life on the line to rescue a bunch of strangers made Kano feel all the more raw about just tailing these syndicate members. Letting the crooks just wander around wasn't going to bring Maria Asawa to safety, Of that, Kano was now certain. Never lose sight of what you're supposed to protect, ever. He uttered the fundamental dictum out loud. Well, you lost sight of it completely, a voice said out of nowhere. What? Kano spun around. It was Shizu. The what? Also, what's with this music sting? Rumi was with him. Sir, Kano stuttered, weren't you supposed to be waiting at the cafe for... There was some lowlife there, so we left. Rumi's dad looked plenty mean under ordinary circumstances. Right now he looked like a man possessed. Oh, I beg your pardon. I'm still on duty at the moment. I'm going back home, Shizu puffed. You're not marrying my daughter. He turned to walk away. No, please, just wait. I'm done waiting. Now I'm going home. Please, don't do this. Just hear me out. I've heard all I need to hear from you. Rumi, we're leaving. Dad, please. Goodbye. Seizing his daughter by the hand, Shizu stormed off without another word, dragging her behind. Shinya! She called out over her shoulder. Rumi! She was gone. Rumi was gone. Kano desperately wanted to go after her, but he hesitated in an agony of indecision. I can't turn my back on my responsibilities. I'm a detective. My work has to be my first priority. Basically, that's what I'm expecting. I'm a detective. My work has to be my first priority. Going after Rumi isn't what a good detective would do. Oh, Detective Tatsuno. Tatino. It's probably more like Tatsuno, isn't it? That'd probably help me with not saying it like Tostino. What should I do? Tatsuno, Still, the dictum echoed in his mind. Never lose sight of what you're supposed to protect, ever. Never lose sight of what you're supposed to protect. Never lose sight of what you're supposed to protect. Time jump! What is he, on a farm or something? 6 months later, Kano made his way through a small corner of a vast field in the Nagano countryside. Slowly and leisurely, he tilled the soil. He'd surprised himself with his own newfound enthusiasm for organic farming, learning more from Shizu day after day. His father-in-law had taught him the ways of farming from the ground up, and while things had been rocky between them at first, their friendship was now growing strong. Pausing to wipe his brow, he smiled at the acreage around him. He looked forward to tending the crops he'd sown until harvest came around. If he'd stayed on as a detective, he might well never have known the joy he now found in his work. And this wasn't the only seed Kano had planted. Well, this sounds dirty. By the time harvest season came around, the new life growing within his dear Rumi's belly, don't say that's a seed he planted. I don't like that. Don't say you planted a seed. God. Become a farmer, bad end. You never want to become a farmer in life. By the time harvest season came around, the new life growing within his dear Rumi's belly would be ready to celebrate it with them. Ah! Bad end. We got married. Shit, that's where I went wrong. The game is trying to teach you, never follow blindly into relationships. You gotta Kano went after Rumi and Shizu, proving his devotion and earning her hand in marriage. Now he's a farmer in Nagano, and crime in Tokyo is someone else's problem. But hang on a sec. Why weren't Rumi and Shizu waiting at the cafe like they're supposed to be? Well, there's no way for Kano to know about how one man's bit of curiosity at that cafe led to this strange twist of fate. Well, so this leads me to believe that if I know we've moved past the other hours and missed bad endings. My guess is that possibly for there's got to be like some decisions you can make early on to where it then affects this to get a bad ending on a completely different path. I don't know. Something like that. It's something like that. I just don't know what it is. Alright, well, Kano is done. We're done with Kano for now. Someone's story is gonna go into the cafe, and it's apparently gonna stop them from leaving the cafe. So then Kano's story can, I assume, continue. But who do we go to now? Achi, Tama, Osawa, Minorikawa. Who am I feeling? I could close my eyes again and just rotate and stop on someone randomly. Alright, it's Tama. It's Tama time! Okay. Change in pace, change in mood. Tama's story completely different. Alright, here we go. In 1 hour, the Burning Hammer sales demo will begin. Lovely first picture. Chiri's laying out the assortment of snacks that we'll have on hand. Hey Tama, you hungry? Why yes, I am. I mean, that should be pretty obvious at this point. I forgot about this background music that just plays throughout the whole time. All I've had since putting on the stupid mascot costume is some burning hammer and a bunch of iced tea. Hey now, Chiri shoots back. What's with the attitude? Chiri, you do remember that you ate my lunch, right? The sticker said it was best before noon. You just made that up. Yeah. Chiri chortles merrily and chugs some more iced tea. Okay, folks. Mr. Alright, what was this? Yanagashita calls out as he slips into the room. Lunch break's over. Back to work. I don't feel like I've had much of a break. If anything, I'm even more mentally exhausted than I was before. There's a box full of Anagachi toys in the storeroom on the 3rd floor. Mind bringing those down? Anagachi. Anagachi. I don't know why I was saying it the first time. I asked, what's that? The name makes it sound like some sort of product knockoff. Mr. Yanagashita's face widens in surprise. You've never heard of them? Oh, dope. You know, Anagachi. It's a digital pet game where you raise an eel that lives in Tokyo Bay. A portable electronic game in which you raise a conger eel, a nago, feeding it daily and clearing away feces. Depending how you raise your eel, it can wind up developing into various forms, from normal eel to ultimate eel sushi. You can also use the infrared communication feature to bring over friends for your eel from another nearby Anagachi device. There's also a sister product, Trout Watch. By connecting the two, you can view a special event where the eel and trout characters go to a pub together. I really like this visual, I must say. Just the fucking face. Okay, never heard of it, I say. Huh? Well, I guess maybe a lot of people in Japan haven't heard of it yet. But it's all the rage right now with youngsters over in NYC. NYC? Oh, he must mean New York City. It's popular in New York. Really? Anyway, I did some quick checking and that's what I learned, so last month I bought a whole bunch of them. And once again, you were swindled? Yep. Ouch. Cheery dropping the hard truth. Okay. Mr. Yanagashita lets out a pathetic whimper. No! Just like that, his confidence evaporates. He starts muttering to himself. I thought it sounded a little fishy, really. I mean, think about it. Why would kids in New York be interested in raising eels from Tokyo Bay? He muses. And what appeal would an eel character even have anyway? None, that's what. I should have known that. I did know it. Then why'd you buy them? This farce is getting tiresome. Anyway, Yanagashita continues, it was gonna cost way too much to keep them in storage, so I was just gonna let the recycling guy take them. He hangs his head in shame. In a matter of moments, he's borderline catatonic. The type of eel that gives Anagachi its name, Anago, can be loosely translated as the creature that lives in a hole. Mr. Yanagashita is probably wishing he could crawl into a hole right about now. Cheery, on the other hand, flashes a big, bright grin. Still, you know, eel's pretty delicious. Oh, Cheery, Yanagashita blurts. Thank you. She clasps her hands in gratitude. I wasn't exactly complimenting you there, boss. It's the same thing. There's a little bit of me in each of my products. Anagachi and I are one and the same. A brief Anagachi gameplay clip. Oh, I'm gonna wait to hit play on this. The trick is to feed your eel proper food and give it proper exercise. Another important strategy tip is to make sure to obtain the sharp chef's knife when you visit Kappabashi Kitchen Town partway throughout the game. Alright, here we go. Play this video. Good shit. Good stuff. Okay. Which is to say, eels and I are one and the same. Go on then. Say something nice about eels. Cheery chimes right in without missing a beat. Eels are awesome. When it comes to eel sushi, 100 pieces barely whets my appetite. You know, these two make quite a pair. That really means a lot to me, Cheery. Thank you. Thank you. I don't understand what any of this is about, but if it helps mend Mr. Yanagashita's wounded spirits, I guess I can't complain. I leave them to their devices and head for the storeroom. It's an awkward pair. The storeroom door opens with a rough grating sound. Okay, now where's the light switch? I fumble around in the dark, feeling for the switch box. My costume paws mute the sensations in my hands enough for that even... My costume paws mute the sensations in my hands enough that even finding that is difficult. Okay, fair enough. I bat at the wall willy-nilly until eventually the lights come on. Apparently I found the switch, even if I didn't feel it. Whoa. What the heck is this? The storeroom is practically overflowing with shoddy goods. A painting that looks like a child's scribblings. An oddly shaped hat bearing the words, grow 2 inches guaranteed. Uh-oh. That's a cheap looking pendant with a tag that says it's set with a miracle stone. These stones are nothing more than simple glass beads that were purchased at 5,000 yen a piece. Seller claimed normally they sell for 10,000 pop, but if you buy 100 of them, I'll give you half off, at which the buyer declared it really is a miracle, before joyfully agreeing to the purchase. The fact that someone like Yanagashita actually exists to buy these things up is also a kind of miracle. It's like this is the knockoff boneyard where cheap products go to die. They break away from their pathetic herd, knowing their time has come, and end up in this graveyard of a storeroom. Let's see. Anagachi. I quickly spy the cardboard box I'm looking for. Then I catch sight of a dark silhouette out of the corner of my eye. I yelp. Oh! It's one of them. Art imitates life. This is exactly what I felt. Me and Tom are the same. It was the same thing. It's the same situation. I'm trying to play the fucking game, and in the corner of my eye, fucking cockroach about that size on my wall. Black, flat, quick, long antenna. Often spotted in kitchens. Sometimes, somehow, their legs wind up in restaurant food. Ew! I'm fucking telling you, man. This music was playing in my head when I was like, do I keep playing the game or do I pause to take care of the issue? The size, the speed, the dark shape. It couldn't be anything else. It peers back at me from the shadow of the Anagachi box, the faint light catching the luster of its carapace. It looks ready to leap out at me at any moment. I need to act fast. I mean, what did I do? I challenged it. I challenged the cockroach in real life. I challenge it to single combat. It flitters aloft. It's gunning for me, alright. Bracing myself a step forward to confront it, which paradoxically helps calm my nerves. I get the sneaking suspicion that this isn't the first time I've done battle with one of these things. It's like I've trained myself to protect someone who's even more scared of them than I am. As I mull that over, the thing, hovering in the air, presses its attack against me. Now's my chance. I snatch up a nearby piece of cardboard and swat at the creature hard. It sails out the window in a graceful arc, then flitters away into the world beyond. Phew. At least we parted on mutually acceptable terms. I didn't have to squash it or blast it with pesticide. Hefting the box labeled Anagachi, I scurry away from the graveyard of schlock merchandise. Good job, Tom. Phew, I made it. When I get back to the break room, Mr. Yanagashita is still clutching Chiri's hands. Dude, it's one of those the mega form cockroaches that like fly deftly through the air. They exist, man. An eel is super tasty when you salt broil it too. Thank you. But tempura style is probably the best. Thank you. Well, Mr. Yanagashita's spirits have certainly turned around. Okay, got it. I hold out the big cardboard box. Excellent, thank you. You girls are the greatest, Yanagashita shouts. His voice resounds with gratitude. Hey, that's it. I just got an amazing idea. Why don't the three of us start our own company? I'll pass. Cheer and I respond in unison. That's a good still. This is a good ass still. Man, you two shot that one down quick. Ah well, for today, let's just focus on selling Burning Hammer. By the way, I ask, where is the Burning Hammer? There wasn't any in the storeroom, and I don't see any here either. Oh, that's right. It's out back on the loading dock. We should probably go bring it in. Oh, and bring the Ngachis with you, too. Cycling guy's gonna be showing up soon. Come on, let's go. Cheer and I follow Mr. Yanagashita out to the loading dock. But the loading dock, it turns out, is empty. There's no sign of the Burning Hammer anywhere. It's gone, Mr. Yanagashita murders. Then his voice rises to a shout. It's gone! All gone! The burning hammer, it's all gone! Flying into a panic, he searches frantically from one end of the dock to the other, leaping into the air, even peering down into the cracks. But no matter where he looks, there's nothing for him to find. It was right here a little while ago. Like, right here. Right here. I hear the sound of an engine revving outside. Mr. Yanagashita cries out in alarm. We can see a truck starting to pull away. Its bed is piled high with cardboard boxes and other sort of trash. Hey, boss, is that... Yes, there it is. Mr. Yanagashita begins racing after the truck. My burning hammer! His voice cracks as he cries out. Give that back! Give it back! But he's no match for a speeding truck, and the boxes of burning hammer vanish before his eyes. Burning hammer! Come back! Come back! Hopefully I'm not too loud there. Yanagashita's wailing echoes from the surrounding buildings. It's like something out of a movie. What the hell? What's up with that truck? Tama! Who the heck was that? Hey, don't look at me, I reply. Huh? With all those positive stuff, it looked just like the recycling guy. As soon as he says it, revelation dawns on his face. The recycling guy, he mutters. I can see the color draining from his face. The words recycling guy give me an idea. If it was him, maybe he thought he was picking up the Anagachis by We have to find it! We have to find that truck! The man is absolutely beside himself. Jerry, Tama, you two split up and try to track it down. Wait, why do we have to look for it? Again, Cherry and I speak in chorus. If there's no sales demo, there's no money to pay you. And then all the work you've done will be for nothing. Right, when he puts it that way, I guess there isn't much of a choice. Somehow or another, we'll have to find that truck. Can't have gotten far, he continues. Now go hunt for it like your life depended on it. Cherry and I look at each other and sigh. How do you want to do this? She asks. Want to search together, or should we split up? Nah, son. We're gonna go together. Let's go together. And so Cherry and I head out in search of the truck. As we make our way down Center Guy, peering in all directions, I accidentally bump right into a man who's out with his daughter. Oh, pardon me. I hop back to my feet and go to bow to the man in apology. Ow! He bows at the same time and we manage to bonk our heads together. Sorry! As her dad drops to his knees, clutching his head, the girl begins to wander off. Hana, wait! The man lurches to his feet and rushes after the girl. She seems like an odd kid, only 10 or so, but strangely cold and distant for her age. It's Hana. As we make our way back down the road, Cherry's eyes light upon a cafe. Man, I am super hungry, she mutters. Not now. We have to find that truck. Yeah, I know. I stride purposefully along, and though Cherry flashes the eater a long, lingering look, she falls into step behind me. Cherry and I wander around town for another 10 minutes or so. We don't see any signs of the truck, though. Ugh, I sigh. It really is good and gone, huh? I turn to look back at Cherry. Huh? Wait, what? Cherry's gone. She must have slipped away from me at some point. Take a quick look around. There's no sign of her. When did she split off? She was just there 2 or 3 minutes ago. It's 12:35. The sales demo starts in 25 minutes. What do? I don't have time to go looking for Cherry. Guess I'll have to keep searching for the truck by myself then. But I have no clues to go on, so I don't know how I'm ever going to find it. Ugh. What should I do? Ah, shit. Keep out, son. Someone else jumps into it. Alright, now who are we feeling? Minorikawa, Asawa, or Achi? Whose story do I think would jump back into Tama? I mean, probably Achi though, right? Tough decisions. I'm gonna go Achi. Achi and Natomi scamper through the back roads along Center Guy. White sneakers and pumps slapping on the pavement. Achi kept his eyes peeled, continually checking ahead and behind as they darted through the gaps between the buildings. Finally, they stopped in a narrow alley. "There's no way he'll find us here," he said. "Remember, we're running away from the guy with the cane with the gun. I believe, still. He found us again. No one knows about this place." He took another look around and let out a sigh of relief. It seemed they'd managed to shake the gunman for now. Back when Achi was with SOS, he had come through Center Guy practically every day. The abbreviation for Studs of Shibuya, a name given to a group of Achi when he founded it, originally just a bunch of like-minded young people hanging out together, since become known as a gang that picks fights around Shibuya. The gang had started out as little more than a group of local teens. They didn't do much in particular, just horsing around and killing time. What mattered was that they were having fun. But it wasn't long before it wasn't all fun and games. Achi couldn't help but notice the slobs who were making a mess of Shibuya, dirtying it all up. He wasn't about to let them get away with it. Most frequently, it was folks who tossed cigarette butts out in the street, plastered walls, and graffiti. When they didn't respond to his more gentle warnings, he found slightly more forceful ways of getting his point across. SOS got a reputation. Street punks started trying to pick fights with its members. Those guys required a bit more force to handle. When it came to the worst of the lot, the drug dealers, the muggers, the guys who tried to force themselves on women, it was full-on battle, no holds barred. Before long, SOS had established itself as something of a vigilante corps. Soon it became known as one of the biggest gangs in Shibuya. "Let's lay low here for a bit and see what happens," Achi said. The alley where they hid was like a dimly lit chasm, obscuring them from view. The only problem now was figuring out what to do next. They needed to find that blue van again, which meant figuring out the best way to get back to Dogonzaka without the man with the cane catching them once more. "Achi?" Hitomi whispered. "I think I can handle myself from here." She got to her feet and gave Achi a deep bow. "Whoa," Achi held out a hand. "We've been over this already. You're not going to be okay. That guy has a gun. If you let her go up against that assassin alone, you might as well be the one to pull the trigger himself." "Thank you so much for everything you've done for me," Hitomi continued as if she hadn't heard him. She started to shuffle out of the alleyway. "Hey, what did I just say?" "Really, Achi, I appreciate your concern, but I can't in good conscience put you in danger anymore." "But, I mean..." Achi tried to press the point, but Hitomi cut him off. "There's no good reason for you to risk yourself to keep helping me." I almost said healing. Her tone was resolute. Alright, fuck it. Achi knew she had a point. He decided to back off. Just then, a bit of light shone onto the alleyway from above. It looked like someone on the adjacent building's upper floor had turned on the lights. This is someone. Yeah! Wait a sec. First, the Nokane building. This multi-tenant building has 7 floors, but a decade-old urban legend tells a mysterious 13th floor. A sales demo is being held on one of the upper floors today. So can I jump? Is this jump to the right time? Is this the correct jump? Jump! Wait, no! We're jumping back to the cockroach. Okay, now where's the light switch? I didn't need to jump. I don't need to jump here. I don't need to battle the cockroach again. This game is just taunting me with the cockroach thing again. I snatch up the cardboard box and make a run for it. Phew, I made it. When I get back to the break room, Mr. Yanagashita is still clutching Chiri's hands. And you are super tasty when you salt broil it too. I mean... I could try splitting up and see if that changes anything. It was a trick jump, though. It was a jump that was not necessary. It's unfortunate, though, because I think this is the fastest we can scroll through the text. So we'll just relive this moment. I'm not going to be rereading this especially. This flute is going hard in my right ear. Alright, let's see what happens. We should split up. Chiri and I go on our separate ways, searching for a truck full of junk. See if this changes anything. I make my way to such a guy. I'm so focused on searching all over as I walk that I lose track of where I'm going. I wind up bumping right into a man who's hurrying along with his daughter. Teruo and Hana Toyama came to such a guy to eat lunch. Before that, they were at Heaven Publishing in Shibuya. One comb. While wandering around distractedly looking for somewhere cheap and tasty, Mr. Toyama bumped right into Tama. Oh, pardon me. I hop back to my feet and go to bow to the man in apology. Bonk again! Ow! He bows at the same time as we manage to bonk our heads together. Sorry. Weird girl just goes away as her dad drops to her knees, clutching his head. The girl begins to wander off. Hey, Hana, wait! The man lurches. to his feet and rushes after the girl. Seems like an odd kid, only 10 or so, but strangely cold and distant for her age. Okay, now this looks different. Nursing my own sore head, I make it all the way to Shibuya Station, but there's no sign of the truck. I'll probably never find it just by wandering around it randomly. It's already 12:35. Sales almost already 25 minutes. Serious doubts I'll be able to find this truck by then. What should I do? It's the same. Keep out. All right. Well, I should have realized. It said it was 12:35, and then the info, the graphic was like, "Oh, you're jumping to Tama at 12:05," and that should have been my key that I wasn't gonna get anywhere, but might as well have seen it. Just then, a bit of light shone into the alleyway from above. Looked like someone on the adjacent building's upper floor had turned on the lights. The light illuminated Hitomi's face. When Achi saw the look in her eyes, he reconsidered his decision. She was trying her hardest to hide it, but she was clearly terrified. No way was he letting her go back out there alone. Still, if he tried to insist, she would only refuse him again. Hitomi? Humor me for a second here. Tell me, what's the proper way to dispose of a plastic bottle? Oh, that's romantic. She stared at him in surprise. Well, first you remove the cap and the wrapper. Then you rinse out the inside and crush it. Achi let out the breath he'd been holding. Okay, good. Huh? I don't understand. What's good? You gave me my reason why I have to help you out. I super respect people who respect the environment. I'm one of those whatchamacallits, an environmentalist. Achi has a good heart. He's dumb, but he has a good heart. It's really dumb. Achi pointed out his Mean Clean t-shirt, which I would love to get a Mean Clean t-shirt. Hitomi hesitated. And what was your plan if I'd say the answer was to toss plastic in with the trash? Well, then I need to stick with you to help teach you. Environmental awareness begins with good education. Oh, you're so smooth! So then you were going to tag along with me regardless? Look, I'm just super pumped to learn that you care so much about proper recycling. Achi cracked a huge grin. Okay then. Okay? If you're really that sure about it, I guess I could use your help a little while longer. Hitomi flashed him a little smile. Man, she's so cute, Achi thought. This fucking game, man. Sneaking out from the alley, Achi and Hitomi began to make their way along the side streets back toward Dogenzaka. It was a pretty big detour compared to taking the main thoroughfares. Kind of hard to read some of this white text on this background, but that would be worth it if it meant they'd avoid the man with the cane. Achi looked over at Hitomi as she walked alongside him. Her face was solemn. He could feel the intensity of her worry for her sister. Ooh, well, 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 look who's got himself a little cutie. The sudden call startled him. He spun around. Yo, Mean Clean, over here. Achi spotted a young man up ahead, sneering at him. Oh, it's gang fight time. At his side were two others. Achi recognized a lot. SOS. Hitomi let out a nervous squeak. Achi? Don't worry about them. He led her onward, attempting to stride right past the trio. Whoa, hey now. You just gonna ignore me? That's pretty damn rude, especially coming from someone who used to be an old buddy. The three toughs. Three toughs moved to bar Achi's path. I like the word tough as a noun and not as an adjective. What are you? I'm a tough. Ooh, she is hella fine. Come on, ain't you gonna introduce us? Hella fine. Extremely attractive. Thanks for that translation. The etymology of hella is somewhat unclear, but its meaning is undisputed. Very, a lot of, totally, and the like. Potential synonyms for hella fine include mighty fine, fine as hell, and bangin'. Time to remind chat. I definitely say hella, unironically. And I don't know when I started doing it, but it definitely was like several years ago. For some reason, I started using hella unironically as a replacement for very. I will probably say like a more extreme very. I'll say hella. I don't overuse it though. I'm not like obnoxious about it, but I probably say like hella dumb. If someone's explaining something to me and we're both like in that stage where we're both like, man, listen to this very dumb thing, and they explain the dumb thing, I'm like, yeah, that's hella dumb. That's like how I'd say it. How I'd tend to use it. I digress. Sorry, man. I just said, I'm in a bit of a hurry here. He gave them a tepid smile. A big hurry, huh? Where to? Some love hotel in Maru ya macho. Maru ya macho. Too rich, another chimed in. She a screamer, Achi? Achi! Damn. Take a stereotypical way to poke fun at a would-be amorous couple. Now take Achi's name. There you go. These, like, I love the way this game, I don't love how the game presents the timeline thing as far as, like, trying to locate bad endings. We've been over that. That's my biggest criticism so far of this game, and even that's not a big criticism, because it's whatever. And, like, choice making and stuff, kind of not clear. I do love these, like, footnote things. You can just break up the story, put little in-jokes in. It's great. Get little details, get little videos, PowerPoint slide looking things. It's great. They burst out howling like a gang of monkeys. One of them cackled like a grinning idiot. Ah, Achi. Achi. Ah ha ha ha. Ah ha ha, Achi. Achi felt his anger boil. Huh. There was too much at stake. He was just going to have to suck it up and ignore them for the time being. Let's take the high road. But there was too much at stake. He was just going to have to suck it up and ignore them for the time being. Gritting his teeth, he tried to slip past them. The largest of the three grabbed him by the collar. You ran out, man. Susumu's the one who runs this town now. You got no right to keep acting like you're the boss of us. He shoved Achi up against the wall. Says who? Achi asked. Susumu? Say what now? Did Susumu say I've got no right to act like the boss? Bitch, please. Susumu ain't got time to worry about your sorry ass. Ah, is that so? Smack! Achi's fist flashed out, catching the man clean on the jaw. He dropped to the ground with a dull thud. So, tell Susumu this. Everyone in Shibuya needs to just play nice and have fun. Achi kept his tone light and jovial, but he eyed the two other toughs like a hawk eyeing its prey. Is he going to be alright? Hitomi murmured. She looked at the man Achi had laid out with some concern. He'll be fine. If that's all it took to knock him out, he's got no right to act all badass. Achi, huh? I don't believe I've had the pleasure. This music. A taller man with an angry gleam in his eyes had appeared atop the steps nearby. He must have turned up during the commotion. He radiated a distinct aura of menace. That's me, Achi replied, and just who are you? For once it was someone he didn't recognize. The name's Yoji Kiryu. Kiryu? Yakuza. Used to roll with a gang from, Ikebukuro, till a few months ago. Known as the Killer Whale of Bukuro, he answered any and all resistance with his fists. His crazy antics led to him being kicked out of the gang, however. Lately he's been hanging around Shibuya. I joined up with SOS after you left. Now I'm Sumu's number 2 guy. The newcomer stared at Achi's face, sizing him up. Our legendary founder. I've heard so much about you. The founder? It had been a long time since anyone had called him that. There had been a bunch of arguing over who would take charge of the new group that was formed and set things straight in Shibuya. At some point, folks had started hailing him as the force found in SOS. But founder? That was just something his buddies called him. He never paid it much heed. Shibuya was a place for fun, not hierarchies. At least, in Achi's mind, that was how it ought to be. Oh, he's got a chain. Like how you busted up some mean old drug dealers, rescued your pals from Yakuza bondage. Here, bondage is used strictly in the sense of captivity. Any other types of Yakuza bondage will not be featured in this game. Sorry if the tip link here got your hopes up. You're a real hero. Kiryu's tongue flicked from his mouth like a snake's. Hitomi shuddered. Achi couldn't blame her for being creeped out. But that's all in the past now, isn't it? Kiryu continued. You went modestly on your way. It's up to us now. And we've helped SOS grow by leaps and bounds to help carry on your legacy, no matter who stands in our way. The thought didn't sit right with Achi. If aggressive expansion was the name of the gang was losing touch with its roots. It wasn't about keeping Shibuya safe and fun anymore. Make SOS bigger, huh? He said. I'm guessing that was Susumu's call as well. Kiryu didn't answer his question. His mouth merely twisted into a knowing sneer. In any event, I think these boys here need a little lesson in manners. The guillotine ought to do the trick. Guillotine, a capital punishment device invented in 18th century France. The condemned is executed by decapitation by means of a heavy blade that descended from above. Named for physician Joseph Ignace Guillotine. He advocated its use to the National Assembly. Both King Louis the 16th and Marie Antoinette were executed by guillotine. The other gang members started an alarm. Whoa, hey, just calm down, man. Please, anything but the guillotine. Kiryu pointedly ignored their pleas. Whoa, hey, what's the guillotine? Achi asked. Kiryu smirked. The guillotine is the guillotine. Oh, snap. With me, worms. Without a glance back, Kiryu strolled away. His 2 underlings followed him unhappily. Achi wondered what lay in store for them, but right now he had more important things to worry about. Come on, let's go. Took Hitomi by the hand and they were back on their way. Oh, Hitomi perked up. That's me. She reached into her pocket and took out her cell phone. Huh? She stared at the screen with consternation. What is it? Achi asked. It's an email from Mr. Tanaka. Who's Mr. Tanaka? He works with my father. I'm not sure what I should do. Achi remembered that the criminal had warned her against contacting her family or the police. She seemed reluctant to even open this message. I'm sure it's fine to just read an email, he said. Besides, he's not the police and he's not your family. Yeah, you're right. Hitomi scanned the message anxiously. Sounds like he's worried about me, she said. Then does he know about the kidnapping? Yes, I know my father trusts him. And he's always been so... Hitomi cut herself short. Still, it's clear to Achi that she and this Tanaka person had some sort of close relationship. I wonder if it's safe for me to just let him know what the situation is. I think it should be, Achi told her. I mean, the kidnappers aren't gonna know you sent an email, right? That face. I'm just reading your phone. Hitomi began typing out a response. Achi watched over her, wild speculations running through his mind. There's no way a mild-mannered young lady like her could be dating one of her father's co-workers, was there? Nah, we can't go. We can't jump to Asawa. Another time. Unless she was all about finding herself a sugar daddy. No, he was being ridiculous. Archie banished the thought from his mind. Besides, Tomi's personal life wasn't the problem right now. The problem was that psycho with the cane and the gun. Is something wrong? Tomi asked. She'd finished sending her email. Oh, no, nothing. Nothing at all. Archie did his best to look nonchalant. It was a good thing she couldn't read his mind. They exited Center Guy and resumed their approach toward Dogenzaka by way of Maruyamacho. There are many hotels in Maruyamacho. These are not ordinary establishments, but rather a sort of hotel where two people who are so inclined might... Redacted. A couple heading to this kind of place in the early afternoon would, without a doubt, be assumed to be bent on... Redacted. You might be wondering whether an option for these two to get up to mischief will appear as a selection prompt. Well, don't get your hopes up. This isn't that kind of game. Temper your expectations. Another long detour to decrease their odds of running into the gunman. They made an unlikely pair. Scruffy Archie, limbs lackadaisically swinging to hide his embarrassment, and brisk, purposeful Hitomi. Archie found himself watching her out of the corner of his eye. He could still feel her anxiety. He wished there was some way he could ease her fears. Hey, Hitomi, mind if I ask you something? Sure, go ahead. Okay, so I realize this might be kind of a weird question, but put on a serious face. What does the eco in eco-friendly mean? Huh? I know it's about helping the earth and all, but I don't know what it really means, you know? Hitomi thought for a moment. I'm pretty sure it's short for the English word ecology, which is the science of examining the relationship between man and nature. A subset of biology that deals with the reciprocal relationship between organisms and their environment. Nowadays, the term can also refer to cultural and social effects on the global environment. The later usage can be broad and imprecise, making the exact meaning somewhat difficult to define. Oh, right, science. Pleased with himself, Archie chattered on excitedly. Faint smile crept back onto Hitomi's face. Doesn't seem like appropriate music going on for him learning about the word ecology, but who am I to judge? Say, you ever hear about the Clean River here in Shibuya? A Clean River? In Shibuya? Really? Ask 100 youngsters outside Shibuya Station the same question, and you probably get that same answer 100 times. Yeah, the Shibuya River. You know, that drainage channel we saw earlier? Wait, that's the Clean River you're talking about? By no reasonable definition was the Shibuya River what anyone would call clean. That's the one, Archie grinned at her confusion. See, the river used to be clean a long time ago. I read about it in this old book called Science Strikes Back. It's a popular monthly magazine abbreviated SSB. The series has been running for 29 years now, but the Strike Back appendix is still immensely popular with children. The woman who handles the home deliveries is known as the SSB lady, and children wait excitedly on the 25th of each month for her to make her rounds. I used to have that book, Tomi chirped, her eyes wide with excitement. You're talking about that bit with the river that got turned into a song, right? It's the famous 1912 song, Haru no Agawa, the Spring Book, with lyrics by Tatsuyuki Takano and music by Taichi Okano. It is said that the song was inspired by the view of the upper course of the Shibuya River during Takano's childhood. In the modern day, there's a stone monument bearing the song's lyrics along the Adakyu line between Yoyogi Hachiman and Sangubashi. Yeah, that's the one. You read it too? I did! Archie felt a giddy rush at this unexpected connection they shared. Imagine if there was still a clean, beautiful river here in Shibuya. It'd be the perfect place for taking a romantic stroll. Hitomi looked up at Achi. She seemed to share his joy in this idea. Wouldn't it be amazing, Achi said, if that dirty little channel could be cleaned like it used to be? It would. Maybe as amazing as the look on Hitomi's face right now, Achi thought. Damn, Achi is so horny, dude. Hitomi, tell me some more ecology stuff. Hit me with whatever you got. She seemed happy to oblige. And so, as I walked along, Hitomi explained the bits of knowledge she picked up over the years. Achi was quiet, hanging on every word. The return to Dogenzaka became an impromptu environmentalism lecture. Hitomi continued until she'd exhausted her ready knowledge. She's got a good personality and everything. If we're being completely honest, way out of Achi's league. But that's just my opinion. I mean, I don't know shit, so... I just don't get it, Achi grumbled when she paused at last. I mean, why is it a bad thing if the planet gets warmer? Wouldn't that make winter in places like Hokkaido way easier? No, you see, because if the whole planet gets warmer, it'll cause the whole ecosystem to collapse. We're learning about, you know, global warming and shit on a Friday night. Achi racked his brain. And the ecosystem is what again? Oh god, Achi. Okay, so Achi, big environmentalist. He's like, oh, we gotta clean the streets. The streets are trash everywhere. Man, I wish the river was clean. And yet, he doesn't have these most basic of concepts, like, nailed down. And on one part, that's endearing. That's like, oh, he wants things to be clean because he just knows morally things should be clean. But he's not the sharpest tool, though. Is that like a solar system? Images of the cosmos filled his imagination. No, not really, Hitomi said. So is it more like a sound system then? Oh god. Not really. Oh, but anyway, you're saying the problem is with the, what was it again? Carbon, dioxide? Yeah, that stuff. I'm going to have to cut down on that. Sure. That settles it, Achi declared proudly. No more soda for me. Soda? Tomi asked. Yeah, it's carbonated, right? Screaming into the air, no more soda! Hitomi burst out laughing. What? I'm serious. You don't think I can do it? I'm sorry, Hitomi said, catching her breath. It's just... You're just really dumb, Achi. I can't hang around someone so dumb. Her face froze, her mirth abruptly vanishing. Butt rock guitars muted. Okay. Oh, no. Huh? Achi stared at her face in alarm. What is it? How? How has he just appeared? Also, we're bringing back the butt rock guitars again. He turned his attention in the direction Hitomi was looking. The man with the cane was bearing down on them. Oh, come on! You have got to be kidding me. Same. He grabbed Hitomi's hand and ran. This time he headed for the main road, hoping to get lost in the crowd. Hitomi struggled to keep up. She was exhausted after all their earlier running. You can do it, he told her. The guy's got a cane. We can outrun him. The assassin was still hurrying after them. Once we get around the next corner, we'll be out of the main road. Yeah. Okay. She strained to get the words out. Bit by bit, her feet were slowing down. It was another 50 meters or so to the main road. Achi realized that they might get caught before they got there. "Sorry, Hitomi," he exclaimed, "but I gotta do this." He scooped her up in his arms. Eeh! By the time the squeak had escaped her mouth, Achi was already running full out. Achi? Please put me down. Don't worry, you're super light." He's just football carrying her. Yeah! Just like a wedding day. Just run. Just book it. Achi glanced back and saw the assassin, now far behind it, break off his pursuit. But just as they rounded the corner, he heard the man call out to him. Achi almost stopped on reflex. Hold on, did he just shout my name? How the heck does he know my name? Quaking with unease, Achi slipped into the crowd. Achi, could you please set me down now? A meek voice pulled him from his panic. Huh? He looked down at the girl in his arms. People in the crowd all around them were watching and chuckling. I mean, I'm really happy you saved me and all, but being carried around like this is, Hitomi was blushing beet red, but Achi's expression had gone pale. Achi, wait. Wait! Had you really heard that right? That's what it sounded like. He set Hitomi back on her feet, then used his shirt sleeves to wipe the sweat from his face. You okay? Tommy asked. When we were running just now, did that guy say something? Not that I heard, no. Huh. Had he just imagined it then? Maybe. Achi was sure he didn't recognize the man. That's the shot you're calling? It seems like throughout the series we've called different shots, and like the one that I made that was busted like 5 minutes later. So okay, so you're placing your bet that Hitomi is, I mean, you said evil. I wouldn't maybe go as far to say if I'm going into what you're saying. I would say maybe less evil, and she's more part of like this bigger conspiracy thing. Like she's a big part of some. There's something that she's not telling to Achi, that then you're saying like dude with the cane is not bad like he's painted as being, and he's trying to. Well, you said save. Maybe so you're saying Hitomi's evil. I don't know. It's a good guess, though. There's something weird about that guy, though, Hitomi murmured. She furrowed her brow. No matter where we run, he keeps catching up to us. It's almost like he knows where we're going. Oh, he's a time traveler. She was right. Finding a particular pair of people in a place as big as Shibuya bordered on the impossible. And yet, somehow, the assassin had tracked them down several times now. Yeah, Achi said. It's like he's got some way of locating us or something. He got a sudden idea. That's it. What if they're doing the whole tracking thing, but like, backwards? What? Tomi's eyes widened. Okay, so you know how in police shows they always stick a tracking device in the bag with the ransom money? Like that, but backwards. Okay, so backwards isn't the right way to describe this, but Achi doesn't realize that. He does seem to know what a tracking device is, at least. A radio transmitter that can be located by a signal it emits. The Japanese police sometimes refer to this as a beeper, not to be confused with the English slang term beeper meaning a pager. Backwards? Yeah, like, instead of putting the tracker on the money, they put it on you. Hitomi frowned. I don't see how I could possibly have a tracker on me, she said. I mean, I'm just wearing my clothes from home. Oh, huh. Well then, how is he doing it, then? Barely a moment passed from this moment that he got the words out of his mouth. Oh, fuck! Once again, the man with the cane stepped out on the road ahead of them. Does no one else see this guy pointing a gun at them? Like, so it doesn't tip anyone off? That's strange. Really did seem as if he'd known exactly where they were going to be. How the hell is this happening? Achi groaned. He reached for Hitomi's waist, ready to pick her up again. It's okay. I can run by myself. Achi took her by the hand instead, and they raced into another alley. Achi's disappointed he doesn't get to just carry her in his arms. This guy just will not give up. At the far end of the alley, he could see a forklift parked beside a pile of cardboard boxes. Achi decided to... No, don't do that. Don't get into the forklift. Yeah. Ugh. Achi snatched up the nearest box, turned and threw it at the man with the cane. The box was filled with something heavy. This ought to do some damage. He watched with satisfaction as it struck the assassin in the face. The man staggered sideways. This better not be the Anagachis. Or the drinks. I mean, the burning hammer. Here, have another. One by one, Achi hurled every box in the pile. And one for the road. The last box wasn't properly sealed. It broke open as it struck their pursuer, sending several bottles flying. No! They shattered as they crashed into the street, splashing red liquid. Oh, it is the fucking energy drink. Damn it. Damn it! Tama's storyline just got fucked. The assassin dropped to one knee, scrubbing at his face with his hand. Achi looked on in surprise. He couldn't possibly have hit the guy that hard. Peering at the man more closely, he saw that he was spattered in red liquid. Apparently, the stuff in the bottles had gotten in his eyes. Now's our chance. Achi took off with Hitomi, leaving their pursuer kneeling in the alley. Their ragged breathing echoed through the maze of side streets. All that work, just to wind up fleeing for their lives again. Achi ground his teeth in frustration. There are two main types of teeth grinding. One, the subconscious act of gritting one's teeth together while asleep, and then two, gritting one's teeth together as a response to anger or frustration. Here we have an example of two. At roughly the same time, Minoru Minorikawa is grinding his teeth while trying to keep to his schedule. Clearly a jump that we're not going to be able to access. Alright, so there's two jump points in Achi's storyline. We got to remember this. 2 jump points in Achi's storyline. One for Minorikawa. And one for, was it Asawa? Or the other guy? I think it was Asawa. I think. Mental note taken. Hitomi! He groaned when he slowed down to catch their breath at last. I'm so sorry. Hitomi was nonplussed. Sorry. Whatever for? I keep saying how I'm going to help you, but instead I just keep putting you in danger. Achi, no. If you hadn't been with me, I'm sure I'd already be No. Achi hurried to cut her off before she could finish. Don't go there, please. He sighed, then spoke again more quietly. I just want to help you. Clenching a fist, he looked up at the sky. A tiny sliver of blue was visible through the narrow gap between the buildings. Tomi hung her head. Honestly, I can hardly believe how much you've done for me. I do appreciate it, but still, the lengths you've gone to. Achi looked at his feet, then drew himself up. Well, I admit it's not just because of some gut instinct, or your love for the environment, he said. There's another reason I'm doing this. There is? Achi paused, searching for the right words. I love you. Oh, wait, no. I've got a little sister. Her name's Suzune. She's cute and smart. Kind of the exact opposite of me, you know? His voice took on an uncharacteristic solemnity. But she's got a weak heart, so she's in the hospital. Oh, we're getting a sob story! Cue the piano. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. But what does that have to do with any... sorry. But what does that have to do with wanting to help me? Back when Suzune was first admitted, I'd go and visit her every day. But she... Flashback. Achi, you don't need to come visit me every day, you know. That's a terrible voice, but we're rolling with it. The quiet hospital room made Suzune's voice sound all the more frail. What are you talking about? Achi said. You know I'm worried about you. I'll be fine on my own, really. Achi had heard that line before. The more she insisted she was fine, though, the more reluctant he was to leave her. Besides, aren't you the amazing guy who helps hold Shibuya together? They need you out there. Achi didn't know how to respond to that. Much as it was flattering to think he'd played some important role, he was really just hanging out and goofing off with his pals. Certainly wasn't anything for his sister to be proud of. I'd rather you spent your energy helping people who need it more than me. What do you mean, people who need the help more? Who could possibly need help right now more than you? Achi scratched his head in confusion, and his sister gave him a weak, tiny smile. You'll figure it out, she said. I'm sure they'll find you soon enough. But I'm gonna be here with you. I'll be fine. Suzune's face was pale, but her tone was firm. My big brother is gonna be out there, doing his best to help people. That's what makes me happy. That's what keeps me going. Aww, her voice was clear and unwavering, as if to head off his rebuttal. Alright, Achi said with a reluctant sigh. So then, I guess, I'll just go out there and help people who are in trouble? Satisfied, Suzune smiled. Thank you. And can you promise me one more thing? Of course, anything you like. He thumped himself on the chest. If you're going to help someone, make sure you see it all the way through to the end, okay? Okay. No calling it quits partway through, yeah? You got it. I just worry, Suzune said. I know you have a tendency to lose interest in things. Look, don't sweat it. I swear I won't give up on this. Oh, put out that pinky. Achi stuck out his pinky finger. But I want you to promise me something in return. Promise me you won't let this thing beat you. It's too wholesome. Suzune hooked her little finger around her brother's, her sad smile fragile as glass. And so there you have it, Achi said. Kind of a rubbish story, I know. Not very funny. So your sister's heart condition? It's pretty bad? Achi nodded. You know, she called me amazing. There's nothing amazing about me. Suzune, she's the amazing one. She's been in the hospital so long, in so much pain, but she never complains. She's been in the hospital so long in so much pain, but she never complains. All I do is hang out and goof off with my friends. He gave a shrug. But I just kept thinking about how happy she'd be if I really did help people. It had turned out that finding people in need hadn't been all that simple. The only helpful thing Achi had been able to think of was going around picking up trash. And that's why Suzune's idiot brother left SOS to be Shibuya's garbage man. Aww. Did your friends know? Hitomi asked. About your sister? I didn't tell them. I didn't want to pin this all on her being sick. Ah, I see. At least now Hitomi understood what the fight with the local toughs had been about. The sound of approaching footsteps jerked them back into the present. How? How is the hobbled man just show up? Constantly. The man with the cane appeared at the end of the alley. He raised his gun. There was no time to flee. Achi quickly stepped in front of Hitomi. "If you shoot us here, people are going to come running," he said. "I'm guessing you don't want to get pegged for murder." The assassin didn't flinch. "Stay out of my way, Achi." This time, there was no doubt. The gunman had spoken Achi's name loud and clear. Oh, Gage. Your prediction seems like it could be right. I mean, at the very least, it's clear that for some reason it sounds like this guy with the cane clearly is just after Achi. How does he know Achi's name? Or clearly after Hitomi. How does he know Achi's name? I don't know. "How do you know who I am?" The man stared at him through the sights of his gun. "She has to die, Achi. It's for your own good." "What? What does he mean?" Hitomi whispered. "Achi, what is he talking about?" Achi's mind was a whirl. Things were coming at him too fast for him to process. "I don't know this guy. Hitomi, please, you have to believe me." "But..." Hitomi took a doubtful step away from Achi. The assassin didn't miss his opening. He quickly aimed at her. "Cut the crap, man! What do you mean killing her is for my own good?" "Once she's dead, you'll understand." Let's get really weird. What if this guy is Achi from the future? And Achi at some point suffered a leg injury, that's why he has the cane. The only reason he knows where Achi is and where they are at the moment is because it's literally from Achi from the future, so he knows like all the twists and turns throughout Shibuya that Achi took. Like, what if we get like, what if this is, let's start thinking like, let's get supernatural with this. What do you mean the only character you trust is Cane Man? Even other characters, other main characters you don't trust? You don't trust Tama? The gunman's finger tightened on the trigger. I've seen weirder things in video games. Oh! Ah! Tama is pulling the strings. That's what I'm saying. It's like a Virtue's Last Reward, Zero Time Dilemma type situation, where once the mask comes off, once the mascot head comes off, then the whole plot is revealed to this whole game. All truths are revealed. Oh, Achi's story is done for the hour. Damn. Well, really then, we only have 2 more to go, because we gotta correct something in this timeline. This is just done, and then this we have to jump to from one of these guys. Alright, I'm gonna get a quick drink. I could probably go for like another hour or so. So we have time to... Let me know which of these 2 you want to go through next, and I'll be right back. I want to see more finger pointing and whiplash sound effects. I can only mean one person. Norikawa. It is. Most people's... See, here's the genius of these games. Each of these 5 characters' stories, the tone and everything is completely different. But they're all fascinating stories for their own, like, completely different reasons. So I was like, as I was getting up, I was like, man, I'd be fine with going to any of these guys' stories, because this one's, like, intense, like, biological weapon story type deal. And then you have this guy who's just goofy as hell, and he's trying to help some suicidal journalism guy. It's just, this game is good. Point! Norikawa stood on the sidewalk weighing his options. Chiaki's phone call had thrown him for a loop. Oh yeah, Chiaki. Man, Chiaki. This just makes me think of Danganronpa 2? 1? It's been a while. I think Chiaki's in 2. I need to play the other games in that series. Okay, Chiaki's phone call thrown him for a loop. He had expected her to be anxious about doing interviews, but wow, she was a real basket case. Still, that didn't change the fact that he had a schedule of his own to keep. The surveillance camera story had to be his top priority. Chiaki would just have to find some way to fumble through things on her end. He headed on down Dogenzaka, scanning his surroundings as he went. There are cameras set up on street lights all over the place. Also, Osawa's story is so heavy, I think it is the best to kind of like leap to the end. Finish the hour on his story. There were so many it was hard to believe he'd never noticed them before. One over there, another just over here. Electronic eyes peering down on passerby from high above, but they were tougher to spot. Just how were the people who came to Shibuya reacting to this situation? There you go, there's your first pointing sound effect. Hey, you there! Nora called out to a man riding by on a bicycle. Hey you, stop! The man brought his bike to sudden stop. Tasai Yasuda, proprietor of a knick-knack shop in Utagawacho. Roughly 30 minutes earlier, while he was wandering along the JR tracks picking up lost and abandoned items, Archie foisted off his trash onto him, and so he's in a bit of a foul mood. Since then he's been going along on his bicycle, still picking up things from the roadside. There's a trunk on the back of his bike where he stores his finds. Huh? Oh, what's the matter? He asked. Hi, the name is Minoru Norikawa. I'm a freelance writer. Okay. I'm just doing interviews for a magazine and I'd like to talk to you. A magazine? Which one? 4-Star General Gossip. Norikawa did his best to sound proud. Oh, well, I'm actually in a bit of a hurry here. Norikawa soldiered on. See that? He pointed at one of the nearby surveillance cameras. What? The man asked. Blimp? A massive blimp was indeed drifting slowly overhead. A type of aircraft that floats using the lift provided by an enormous envelope filled with lighter than air gas. This envelope balloon is often used for corporate advertising. This particular blimp has been puttering about the skies of Shibuya since last night. No, we haven't even heard much from the bike man. I would say, if anything, Bike Man is the mastermind behind all this, since we have gotten so little information about him. No, the camera! The camera watched them both in uncaring silence. Oh, that? What about it? What do you mean, what about it? Those cameras have been installed all throughout Shibuya. Taking in anything and everything. Privacy be damned. A shocked pallor came to the man's face. Pallor? Oh, really? He muttered uneasily to himself. I guess I should be careful next time I go picking stuff up. Hey, what are you talking about? Norikawa asked. Oh, nothing, just stuff. Way to dodge the question entirely. Anyhow, I think there are some good things about the cameras too, the man said hurriedly. Oh? Norikawa asked, such as? Well, I mean, it must have helped catch some crooks, right? Yeah, I think you're right about that. Oh, I am? The man looked shocked to have his own statement confirmed. No, he owns a junk shop. He just picks shit up. Doesn't have good values. Are you hiding something from me? Huh? No, nothing in particular. The man shook his head vehemently. Nothing at all, really. Well, whatever, Norikawa said. In any case, even if the cameras are helping in arresting criminals, there are some places where people just don't want to be watched. What? For instance, how would you like it if someone set up a security camera inside your home? What do you mean? I mean, a burglar might try to get into your home. If you had a security camera, you'd be alerted right away. Isn't that kind of an extreme argument? Nope! You're the one making the extreme argument here. What? The man stared, bewildered. You're saying it's okay for folks to film people around town as much as they might like, but not to take a look inside people's houses? Yeah, I guess I am, the man mumbled. Norikawa snorted. You don't think too deeply about things, do you? He mocked. The man huffled in indignation. I don't see the problem, he said. I mean, it's a normal enough opinion. To want to bring down crime but also protect privacy? Well, yeah, so if they're just going to set up cameras around town, I'm okay with that. Norikawa grinned inwardly. You're being naive, he said. Way too naive. Naive about what? By now the man was getting worked up. Once you start letting people watch you some of the time, you'll eventually let them do it more and more. That's how the world works. A simple change in camera angle is all it'll take to steal the last traces of your privacy away. That's kind of funny coming from you. Doesn't four-star general gossip get all of its scuttlebutt by invading the privacy of others? Since when are you people concerned with personal privacy? Meaning what exactly? Norikawa asked. You know damn well what I mean. Have you no shame? I've got nothing to be ashamed about, Norikawa exclaimed. If some celebrity scandal breaks, I write it up in the form of a top-class, socially conscious expose. That's the Norikawa seal of quality. The man rolled his eyes. Please, as if anyone's ever heard of that. Your everyday freelance reporter would say something about how security firms have no right to use cameras to disrupt personal privacy. But not me. Oh no. I'm the only guy who'd write a first-class piece on the subject. And you want to know why? The man's only response was a doubtful look. Because privacy only exists for me to utterly demolish it. Norikawa finished with a prideful grin. That's nothing but journalistic arrogance, the man railed. Oh yeah? Yeah, I'd rather have surveillance cameras any day. If the alternative is some weird gossip piece. This time, Norikawa didn't have a handy retort. An awkward silence descended over the pair. Right, I see, Norikawa muttered to himself as he busily scribbled in his notepad. The man was visibly taken aback. Thank you for your cooperation, Norikawa said at last. You gave me some good stuff. He held up a hand to forestall an angry retort. I realize I probably got you a bit riled up. You'll have to forgive me. What? The man peered up at Norikawa in disbelief. This is just my interview style. Sorry. I know it's a little unorthodox. Buddy, you're a weirdo, you know that? The man said. Yeah, I hear that a lot, Norikawa laughed. I love Norikawa. A+. So can I go now? Sure, I'll quote you as passerby A in my article. Sure, whatever, the man muttered. He quickly sped off on his bicycle. Norikawa now had some material for his surveillance camera piece. He wanted to organize what he'd managed to put together so far. He decided to head toward his next interview location, keeping an eye out for a cafe where he could stop to work on his copy. A cafe, you say? He used the map included in the project proposal to guide him. It was hard to read the words and make out the details, but it looked like the Nokane building where the Burning Hammer demo was being held was just down Settergai. There was no indication of which floor the event would be held on, however. That made him a little anxious, but he'd probably be able to find someone to point him in the right direction once he got to the building. He He spotted a cafe up ahead. "Coffee, please," he shouted as he strode inside. He slumped down in an open chair. Hopefully he'd be able to hole up in here until 1 o'clock, working on his article. If he couldn't have it done by then, finishing up the whole issue by the end of the day would be a tall order. He pulled a cigarette from his overcoat as he waited for his computer to boot up. Having a smoke was Minorikawa's little trigger for going into writing mode. The state of being in a mood to write some text. As Minorikawa goes about his job, he switches between writing mode, interview mode, food mode, and sleep mode. Dude, same. When busy, he'll sometimes go into writing mode and food mode at the same time, sometimes even straying into sleep mode in the midst of food mode. When he's even busier, he'll eat and write mid-interview while nodding off. This is known as ultimate mode. Slip into ultimate mode. Do all 4 things at once. Good stuff. He stuck the cigarette in his mouth and lit it up. With the first heavy draw of smoke, he felt his mind focus. The rough idea for his article came to his head nearly fully formed. All he needed to do was get it all written down. Finally, his laptop finished booting up. "Took you long enough, pal," he muttered to the computer. His hands leapt to the keyboard like a predator pouncing on his prey. In a matter of moments, he had hit his stride. Man, we're getting a lot of Sonic sounding butt rock in today's stream. His fingers clicked away. One by one, lines of text filled up his screen. A waitress stepped up beside him. "Excuse me, sir?" But Minorikawa was in writing mode. Didn't even hear her. "Sir? Sir, I beg your pardon." Again, Minorikawa was deaf to the waitress's attempts to get his attention. "Sir, excuse me." The waitress smacked the table. "Quiet," Minorikawa snapped. He slammed the table right back. "Don't interrupt me when I'm working. Not if you know what's good for you." The waitress didn't so much as flinch. She leaned in aggressively, getting right in Minorikawa's face. "Sir, I hate to bother you, but I have to ask you to please refrain from smoking." Minorikawa blinked. "Huh?" "This is a non-smoking establishment, sir." "No smoking?" Minorikawa asked. The cigarette bobbed his mouth as he spoke. "The waitress is Ikumi Omiya, employee at Kolabo Cafe. While appearing cute and demure, at first glance, she's quite strong-willed and frightening when angry. She works nights at a place called the Scolding Pub, where customers rent private rooms in which they are scolded at length by attractive girls. Oh boy! One middle-aged businessman once told her, "Your face looks simply marvelous when you're angry." Bruh. One little detail I do love about this game, I mean, I'm talking like I don't potentially know that maybe this character, maybe Ikumi Omiya has a huge role in the story, but I do love how sometimes like these very minor characters that they introduce as just like the waitress, like then you can push into them, get the little footnote and be like, oh, here's their name, here's their story, here's their background, like little write-ups about the minorest of characters. I like it. The waitress pointed sharply to the sign on the wall. The words "no smoking" were spelled out clear as day. "We ask that patrons please not smoke so that other customers can fully enjoy the aroma of their coffee." The waitress drew herself up in arrogant triumph. A woman sitting at the table next made a face as she tried to fan the smoke away with her hands. Customers all around the shop were glaring at him. "You guys don't know the first thing about the aroma of coffee." Weirdly defensive, Minorikawa scoffed. "The scent of coffee only truly comes to life amidst the choking stench of tobacco smoke." The waitress's only response was to jab her finger again. Oh, she gets the pointing sound effect. But this time she didn't point at the sign, she pointed to the door. "Sir, if you're going to smoke, please take it outside." Sometime later, sitting inside the cafe, Loud Trek. Minorikawa lit up his third cigarette. Ah, yes, chain smoking at its finest. At last, a safe refuge. It had taken him quite some time to find a place that allowed smoking after he got kicked out of the first cafe. In recent years, many cafes and restaurants have phased out the concept of the smoking section in favor of prohibiting smoking across the board. This makes a place like Le Trait especially important to smokers. There are large air vents in the ceiling to help keep the interior more agreeable for those who do not smoke. Now he's in a rush to make up for lost time. His fingers flew over the keyboard at lightning speed. The more he wrote, the harder he focused. At this rate, he'd have the story wrapped up in no time. Today, you hear me? A voice intruded suddenly on his awareness. One of the other customers was shouting. You're breaking up with that fellow today. Norikawa's fingers drifted to a halt. He looked around to see where the voice had come from. An older man, red in the face, was shouting at the young woman who sat across from him. Please, Dad, the woman pleaded. Stop! You're making a scene. Ah, father and daughter, then. It was rare nowadays to see a father behave so imperiously toward his own daughter. Just how sheltered had he been trying to keep her? Norikawa couldn't see her face from where he was sitting. But his interest was piqued. Okay. So we know in Kano's story. Oh. No, we've gotta... I feel like we have to get Minorikawa to be intrigued in the situation for him to then somehow delay them from moving. She moved to another seat where he could take a look. Gathering up his laptop, Minorikawa switched to a different table. I don't care if I'm making a scene, the older man was saying. I'm not leaving until I see you cut ties with that boy. Do you understand? I understand that you're never happy unless you get your way. You're acting like a spoiled child. Don't you talk back to me. You don't understand your own situation. You're letting your emotions cloud your judgment without putting any thought into your future. No, Dad, you're the one who doesn't understand. The father-daughter argument was getting more and more heated. Dad was clearly furious. Norikawa shifted closer, curious to see what might happen next. Then he saw the daughter's face and gasped out loud. Oh, hey, I know you. Wait, you're on TV, right? The father scowled up at him. You must be mistaken, he said gruffly. No, I'm sure of it, Norikawa said. God, what show am I thinking of? The young woman seemed disconcerted by his enthusiasm. Who was she? He called out to a waitress who was passing by. Hey, miss, do you know this gal? She's an actress, right? It's right on the tip of my tongue. The waitress ignored him, but Minorikawa was undeterred. I know this. Weren't you in on one of those TV dramas or something? Minorikawa was probably thinking of a series starring Masami Nagahama, possibly Operation Kolkos, The Last Frenchman, Touched by a Tuna, or Sailor Moon Pies. I'm sorry, Touched by a Tuna and Sailor Moon Pies. All of which received high viewer ratings and are fondly remembered in the public consciousness. Right, we're leaving, the father grumbled. He rose from his seat, radiating aggravation. Huh? The young woman said, but, not waiting to hear her objection, he grabbed her by the hand and stormed out of the cafe. Hey, hold on, Norikawa squawked. His plea fell on deaf ears. All he could do was watch them go, then shuffle back to his seat in disappointment. Damn it, what was her name? Should have asked for her autograph. Mumbling under his breath, Norikawa went back to typing. No, he didn't. I caused the problem. That's why they left. I think I should not have done anything. Because Minorikawa pestered them, and they left the cafe, and then he fucked up with Kano. What's that? A strange beeping sound broke Minorikawa out of his writing reverie. Upon looking up in confusion, found his attention drawn to a young woman at another table. I think that first his is supposed to be he. And then one of these, and one of these. Oh, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and that too. She finished with a broad grin. Let me just repeat your order back to you. 1 Japanese-style beef patty, 1 spicy fish roast spaghetti, 1 chicken casserole, 1 French onion soup, 1 fruit parfait, 1 chocolate parfait, and 1 deluxe chocolate parfait. Will that be all? The waitress anxiously awaited confirmation. The waitress this time is Ryoku Kakinuma, a second-year student at Midoriyama Academy's law school. She was hassled by a pair of hustlers on her way to work and showed up 5 minutes late for her shift. The manager told her that those 5 minutes were coming out of her pay. She's a bit irritated right now. You forgot the large caramel shake. Customer is a full-figured woman ensconced at a nearby table. Oh, my apologies. The waitress quickly jolted down the addition to the order. That'll do it for now, the young woman said. For now? Yikes. Is actually planning on ordering more after that? Careful, game. Careful. Marveling at this display of appetite, Norikawa went back to typing. Now what? He heard the strange beeping sound again, subtly different than the first time. And this time it was closer. Seriously, what the heck is that? No. No! Investigate! I need to get to the bottom of this or I'll never be able to concentrate. So where the heck is that sound coming from? He searched his surroundings for a moment and quickly discovered that the noise was coming from his own bag. He pulled out one of the most important tools of his trade, a bug detector. It's an instrument for finding listening devices. Since wireless listening devices emit radio signals, bug detectors are designed to use wide area receivers to reveal their presence. Using a detector to find something in this fashion is known as fox hunting. It was on and it had picked up a signal. To a reporter, information was life. That made owning a bug detector a sensible precaution in his line of work. With the device in hand, Norikawa casually scanned the area. Eventually, he zeroed in on the signal. He stood up. Everyone, your attention please, he announced. Someone set up a listening device in here. Several cafe patrons turned their heads in disbelief. A woman breathed in pungent perfume flashed him a disagreeable look. Oh, come on, that's ridiculous, she huffed. There's something fishy going on. The only thing fishy right now is you, the woman declared disdainfully. Why don't you get out of here and let everyone enjoy their meals? No, I smell a scoop. You what? You, what's your name? None of your business, that's what. Now hurry up and stop that awful noise. The other customers were starting to murmur loudly. There's a listening device here, folks, Norikawa said. How can that not bother you? Do you know where it could be? Excuse me? The woman called out. Could someone please do something about this man? A waitress hurried over. Sir, please, you're bothering our other customers. There's a listening device in here. That's what people should be bothered by right now. The waitress took a reflexive step backwards at the words listening device. You're the one who's intruding on everyone, the woman shouted. Honestly, could you please stop that racket? It's not me making the racket, it's the bug tracker. Just who the hell do you think you are? Police! Somebody call the police! Ma'am, please calm down, the waitress said. There are other customers here, and I'll calm down once you get this disrespectful bore out of here. All I'm doing is sharing the truth. You can't kick me out for that. The waitress wavered, clearly intimidated by both of them. You sure got a lot of nerve, the woman snapped at Norikawa. Go play detective someplace else. I'm not a detective. I'm a reporter. Really now. By far my least favorite profession. Oh-ho. And why is that? Did someone write a story about you, lady? Got skeletons in your closet? You shut your mouth. How dare you? Yeah, I smell a scoop here, alright? And the smell is coming from you. Oh, stop it with your scoop nonsense already. So he's trying to hide things from me. You have no idea what you're talking about. Oh, yes, I do, lady. Go to hell. After you. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Lots of blahs. More blahs. As they shouted over each other, their words blurred together until they were barely words anymore. The onlookers could hear only indistinct, meaningless raving. Good job, Minorikawa. And still the yelling went on and on and on. Eventually there came the sound of approaching sirens. But even when a police cruiser pulled up outside the cafe, the two didn't slow their bickering. Is this a bad end? Ah, fuck! Minorikawa lost his cool and got drawn into an argument with a stranger, giving no thought to the consequences. By the time he came to his senses in a jail cell, it was too late to say 4-star general gossip. Maybe worrying about weird noises can wait. Right now, finishing up that article sounds like a better idea. It does sound like a better idea. I can't allow Minorikawa to get too curious. I check on the beeping noise. I think this is a good stopping point. As seeing as I can barely speak, apparently. Okay, so long weekend ahead. So many streams incoming, I assume. Probably it'll be a 2 for day tomorrow. Probably earlier in the morning / early afternoon. Try to put a decent chunk back into Destroy All Humans 2 to try to get that done. And then we'll probably do Saturday night stream of this. And we'll pick it right back up in Minorikawa's story. And we won't try to locate the beeping noise there. Look at all these stills of him. Great. And then I assume somewhere down here will allow that. Well, this we might have to go back up here at some point to then unlock this thing. That's done. But then we'll, I assume, at some point jump into Tama's story. But yeah. Enjoy the rest of your Friday night. I'm gonna be doing some stuff before I head to bed, but I'm already getting a bit of that tiredness. And I'm oh so familiar with in my old age here. And I will see you most likely tomorrow, potentially.